Hey everybody, just a quick little bit about what's going on in constructive criticism. I just want to thank everybody for watching the video. It means the world to me. I also am starting a new YouTube channel for the parent company of this podcast. So for a long time I've needed to open an LLC to deal with the money that comes in from YouTube, that comes in from the Patreon, and things like that. So I'm starting Easy Game Media. This also will come with a YouTube channel that does things outside of Magic the Gathering and some Magic the Gathering stuff. So, just nerd culture stuff, movie reviews, game reviews, gameplay videos of things that I enjoy playing. You can check that out at Easy Game Media. It's really appreciated. I need 100 subscribers on that YouTube channel so that I'm able to get the URL that I want. So please check it out at Easy Game Media here on YouTube. I can leave a link down in the description so you can go and subscribe. Thank you everybody for your support that made it so that I had to do this. It means so much to me. I can't even express it. So thank you all so much. Don't forget to check out patreon.com/ccmtg so that I can continue doing stuff like this. It's really fun. It's really exciting, and I couldn't do it without you guys. So thank you, and enjoy this week's video. This is a deck that I really like. As you guys probably know, I've done a lot of these deck techs, but this is one of my favorites. So thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you guys all next week. Hello everybody, and welcome to a deck tech on the Constructive Criticism YouTube channel. I'm Spencer, host of Constructive Criticism and Limited Time Only, two podcasts about getting better at Magic the Gathering. This is like, I don't know, my 30th probably not really 30. There's probably like my 6th update on green-red Scapeshift variants. Whether it's Rug Scapeshift, green-red Titanshift, Breach Shift. This is a deck that I play a lot of, and so because of that, I like to share my updates with it. I think that a lot of people have now kind of come to me as the guy that they talk to when it comes to this deck, so I'm happy to keep innovating and keep trying new things. And this is the list that I'm playing right now, and I kind of wanted to talk about why I've gone this direction and how I think it helps. So we're going to go over Naya Titanshift. It's very light Naya, but it is Naya nonetheless, and I wanted to talk about the things that are going on it. So the first thing that we have is 2 Relic of Progenitus main. This is a card that I've really enjoyed putting into my main deck. I was really opposed to it for a while, not quite understanding why to do it, and I think that the real reason to do it is how many sideboard slots it opens up for you. Being able to play your graveyard removal in the main, or your graveyard interaction in the main, while just continuing your game plan of digging yourself to important cards and really not affecting your game plan too much because of the mana cost on this is really powerful, and it really helps the deck out quite a bit. So I do have 2 Relic of Progenitus in the main. The next thing we have is the 4 Primeval Titan. This is one of the key cards in the deck, if not the key card. Primeval Titan is a huge part of why this deck is good right now, and you should definitely not be slacking off on these. And in this deck, it becomes even more of an importance because of the things that are going on. Being able to grab those Valakuts and back in Standard they said if you ever got attacked by a Primeval Titan, you probably lost the game, and I think that continues to be true here. We have 4 Sakura-Tribe Elder. This is the best ramp spell in the deck. 1 Wood Elves. This acts as a really good target for Summoner's Pact at times. This is a card that I think is just important as having as a one of. I know a lot of people like their 4th Farseek or their couple of Explorers over this. I think that because of Summoner's Pact, you just want these. We have 4 Path to Exile in the main. This is the first white card we're going to see here. I think that I was just trying to be so cute with other things, when in truth you're just okay with having Path be your interactive spell in this deck, and I would play the full 4 right now. We have 2 Summoner's Pact. This is one less than I typically like to play, but I don't think there's room for more than this, and you do have other threats in this deck, and I think that Hour of Promise has really helped it so that you can cut down on Summoner's Pact. We have 2 Nahiri, the Harbinger in the main. This is the other white main deck card. This card is always impressed me in this deck. It didn't impress me as much in the Breach deck, but in this deck, it always seems to just do just enough that I'm willing to play it. Being able to exile an artifact, an enchantment, or creatures, it gives you main deck answers to artifacts and enchantments, as well as being able to deal with big threats. Also digs you closer to your cards, and then if you ever get the ultimate of the game's basically over when you put that Primeval Titan into play and attack with it. And then the Primeval Titan comes back to your hand, which is even more powerful. It means you get, you're guaranteed, more triggers next turn, while also protecting the Primeval Titan from onboard removal. We have the 3 Farseeks in this deck. This is just because we have the 1 Wood Elves. I know a lot of people like 4. You just don't have room for all of that, but this is something that I'm really happy with Farseek. I think that in this deck specifically, being able to grab those white sources is pretty important. We have 2 Hour of Promise. This card has become a huge part of Scapeshift in the last couple weeks, or the last couple months, I guess. It is a card that I think if you are not playing white, you want to play more than two of them. But I really am happy with the card. It acts as another Primeval Titan at times and really gets you. And especially if you have a Scapeshift in hand, the game's just over. We do have the full four Scapeshifts. This is a card that I know a lot of people like to trim one of. I think that it's just so important to the deck that I'm going to continue to play the four. We have the Force Switch for tomorrow. This is the other most important ramp spell in the deck. Just something that you should be happy to have in your opening hand, right? Being able to suspend this turn one gives you the correct number of mana you need throughout the rest of the game. Two Sweltering Suns. This is a change that I'm finally willing to make. I've been pretty adamant that you should be playing Anger basically the entire time that they've both been in Modern. I think that Dredge is enough down that I'm willing to make the switch now to try it out. But if you think that you have a lot of Dredge or a lot of kitchen things in your metagame, you should stick to Anger of the Gods. Right now, I don't think that's true of my metagame, and I've made the switch to Sweltering Suns. We do have the 26 lands. We have 2 Cinder Glade, 3 forests, 4 mountains, 1 plains, 1 Sacred Foundry, 2 Sheltered Thicket, 3 Stomping Grounds, 1 Temple Garden, 3 Valakut, and 6 fetch lands, being 2 Windswept Heath and 4 Wooded Foothills. It's really important to keep track of your mountain count. So in this list, we have 2 Cinder Glades, 1 Sacred Foundry that brings us to 3, 2 this brings us to 5, this brings us to 8, as well as the 4 mountains, bringing us to a total of 12 mountains. This is a lot of mountains. Sometimes you might want to play a little bit more. If you're playing something as simple as Rug, you probably play less. But yeah, I think that knowing how many mountains you have in your deck is always really important. We have the 3 Obstinate Baloth in the sideboard, as well as 2 Tireless Tracker. These are going to come in against those Jund decks. These are going to come in against those control decks. We have 4 Leyline of Sanctity. Being able to cast this card has been pretty powerful. One of the reasons that I don't like the card in your sideboard most of the time is that it becomes a dead card if you draw it late. And I think that in a lot of the matchups, you're okay with drawing this card. Right when you think about Storm, if you're able to cast this card on turn 3, you're probably going to win that game. If you think about playing against something like Burn, if you can cast this card a little bit later, turn 3, turn 4, you're probably going to win that game. Against the discard deck, if you can cast this card a little bit early, you're going to win the game. It's okay to be able to cast this card, especially with the ramp spells in your deck. We have 2 Ancient Grudge, 1 Fracturing Gust, and 1 Nature's Claim. I made a blood pact with Casey Bloodworth from our Coast of Constructive Criticism to always have Affinity Hate in my sideboard. I'm not going to stop doing that. I think that it's super important and that you get punished more often for not having it than having it, and a lot of the cards can be multi-purposed. You can bring in a lot of these cards against different decks. I brought in Fracturing Gust, Nature's Claim against lots of different decks, and I brought in, obviously, Ancient Grudge against decks like the mill deck in Modern. So we do have 2 Crumble to Dusts. I know a lot of people don't like playing hate for lands in this format, but I just find that they're so popular that even though it's a good matchup for you, I really do like having those sideboard cards and being able to kind of punish them. So that's it for this deck this week. This is where I'm at. I really like the white splash. I think that Leyline and Path to Exile are really important. Just being able to just kill things dead with Pact to Exile that you couldn't do with your lightning bolts and that you had a hard time dealing with is really important. And I don't think you lose that much on the tempo side. I think that while Nahiri can sometimes be worse than Chandra, a lot of people aren't even playing Chandra right now, and I think the Nahiri gives you some flexibility in the kind of things that you can deal with, and I find that to be pretty important. So thank you everybody for watching. Don't forget that you can leave a comment. Let me know what you think of this deck list. Let me know what you're playing, what your current Valakut plan is. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to check out patreon.com/ccmtg to become a patron of this content and all of our other content. Starting at $1 or more per month, anything you see fit is really appreciated. You can also check out our sponsor, Flipside Gaming. Use the code CCMTG at checkout to get a small percentage off your order. It means the world to me, the kind of people that support this content. It makes this content worth doing. So thank you, everybody. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a like button. You can follow me on Twitter, Spencer13H, and we'll see you guys all next time.